How should MBA applicants respond to interview questions about the impact of 2020 events, specifically COVID-19 around the world and in the United States, the events surrounding and following George Floyd's murder, as well as the 2020 election? Okay, it's been a rough year. That's just the reality of it. It's been a tough year for everybody in a lot of different ways. Worldwide, again, there's been the pandemic. And you are very likely to be asked in your interview questions about how you were affected by the coronavirus. Now, there are a variety of ways you could have been affected. You could have gotten sick. Could have loved ones who got sick. I hope it's not true, but you could even have lost a loved one to the virus. Perhaps you or a close family member lost their job or their income if they had their own business that was negatively affected. Maybe you feel like you're stagnating at work or at risk of losing your job. Maybe you couldn't take the GRE or the GMAT when you wanted to take it at all, depending upon where you live, or in the format in which you wanted to take it. So that's how you were affected by events really beyond your control. But then there are the events you can control, and that's how you respond to the situation. And you can respond almost entrepreneurially in a leadership kind of way. So did you assist the vulnerable? Perhaps did you start a program organizing people, resources, technology to assist the shut-ins, to assist the vulnerable, to assist communities and populations that are really struggling as a result of the corona pandemic? Or on an individual level, did you commit to visit an elderly person or somebody who has underlying health conditions and isn't so elderly, but cannot go out, cannot shop, and is lonely? That's also a response, an initiative on your part. In the United States, we had a summer of social unrest and renewed focus on the country's history of racism in the past and charges of racism today. All this was in the wake of the George Floyd murder. And again, the question would be, how have you been personally affected by these events? Maybe you have felt the sting of racism and prejudice in your lifetime. I don't mean historically now, I mean today. Maybe you have been victimized by the police or in hiring. That's a way that you were affected. But there's the other part of this. What have your experiences motivated you to do? If you're in a hiring position, have you decided to make equity and inclusion more of a focus in your hiring decisions? Maybe you decided to examine the role of racism in U.S. society today. Maybe your own experiences with prejudice as a recipient of prejudice in this case made you want to become politically activated, motivated you to become politically activated. Or maybe you haven't felt that sting, but you've decided that as a result of what you see going on in society today, you want to hire members of underrepresented minorities and contract with companies headed by people who are underrepresented minorities. All those are initiatives that you can take, steps you can take where you are an actor in response to events that are really beyond your control, and hopefully create change so that those events don't happen again. And then there is the election. So as I record this video, it's October 2nd. President and Mrs. Trump have just been diagnosed with corona. The first debate took place earlier this week. I'm not going to discuss my views on these events at all. Obviously, I have them, but it's not the point of this video. And I'm not going to get into the candidates or whom you should vote for at all. But the election provides opportunity for you to, again, just demonstrate what's important to you and that you're a person who's going to take initiative based on what's important to you. So you can get involved in a get out the vote effort. You can raise money for a particular candidate or cause. You can take an active role in either a particular campaign or, again, a cause that you find that you're passionate about. In all the examples that I've given you, in terms of responding to this tumultuous year, you have two elements, okay? One is how you were affected, what happened to you, usually events outside your control. And then the second component, which is really, really important for MBA admissions, is how did you respond? Did you spare yourself Netflix as a result of Corona? Or did you say, you know what? That neighbor across the street needs help. Or there are a lot of people in my community that need help. Maybe I can use my managerial and programming and leadership experience to help. That's when you become a subject. That's when you become a leader. That's when you have impact. And that's what business schools are looking for. So how have you shown yourself to be an innovator and to a certain extent an entrepreneur, whether revenue is part of it or not, in your response to the events of 2020? I'd love to hear your responses, if you will. If I can't physically hear them, see your responses in terms of the comments below, the comment box below. So please share your feedback. Maybe we can have a little bit of a dialogue as opposed to just a one-way communication in this video. I'd love to do that with you. Please respond in the comments below. In the meantime, take care, stay healthy. Good luck with your MBA applications. Thank you very much for listening.